You ever have one of those weeks where a lot of things are all happening at all at once? Some of it is frustrating, some of it is stressful, some of it just feels so chaotic, and then some of it is energizing and enlightening, and it just warms your heart and just lights you up. And then you stop at the end of the week and you're like, what happened? What was that? That's what was happening? Well, that was the week I had this week. Hi, I'm Jennifer Bright, Chief Financial Storyteller at Bright Ledgers. And on a day to day basis, I help business owners understand the story behind their numbers and the decisions that they make in their business that inform the decisions that they make in their businesses. Um, and the week that I had, it made me decide that I wanted to start a series called Notes from a Financial Storyteller. And it's just a place where I want to stop at the end of the week and reflect on what happened. You know, what things happened this weekend and what did those things teach me about my business, about my life, and about leadership, anything that is happening. What did I learn from it? Because everything that happens to me or that I perform, work that I perform, I'm learning something. But we just go in our business, and a lot of times things are happening and we're just handling them. We're reacting as they come, and we're moving things, and we're just getting through the day. But we never really stop and ask, what did that week really mean? And so this is me just doing that. I'll say that this week started off with a little bit of chaos and a little bit of stress. And I knew that because my body was telling me that. It wasn't very hard to notice because my body was telling me, hey, you gotta, something's not right. And so that was very stressful for me. And then the very next day, I was doing work that I'm really passionate about. I was really explaining about the story that the numbers were telling me about a business, and being able to talk about numbers. That's numbers in sports. That's probably those are my favorite things to talk about, right? And it was work that I know that I'm really passionate about and really lit me up. And I looked at those 2 days side by side, and they were like night and day, right? They were like night and day. And I was like, this is the same business, this is the same life. And I experienced two totally different things in 2 different days. And one day felt really heavy, and the other day felt like, this is exactly what I should be doing. And that contrast made me realize something: alignment, alignment between business and life. It doesn't always show up as this neat, pretty box with a nice bow on it. Sometimes it shows up like a tornado. It shows up like a cloud of dust, and it shows up as stress and chaos and frustration. And it's like you move through the storm, and then when the dust settles, things start to line up and you can see a clear picture. And businesses go through seasons, lives go through seasons, right? And most of the time, we just move with the flow. We're reacting as things are happening. We handle the situation and then we just move on to the next thing, and we don't really think about it. But every now and then, you need to stop and ask yourself some bigger questions. Is this really the work I should be doing? Is this really the best use of my experience and my talents? Is this work that really energizes me? Is this work that I can sustain? And sometimes the answer to that is yes. And let me tell you, sometimes the answer to that is a big fat no. And you have to know the difference, right? And you have to listen to that. You have to pay attention to that. But what I will say is those signals usually come before any numbers show up in your business, right? So you'll see things and you'll just have a feeling. And you don't even know really what that feeling might be, but it comes up before any changes in the numbers in your business. They show up as stress and curiosity. You might have a curiosity, an excitement friction. Your business could be sending you is usually sending you signals. You just have to be willing to listen to them. No, first of all, notice them, listen to them, and then sometimes act on them. Don't just let it sit because it's telling you something. And it's like my favorite movie is The Color Purple, and there's that song, God is trying to tell you something. Your all these signals are trying to tell you something. So that's my note for this week as a financial storyteller. I just wanted to share that, and I wanted to start this series, so that I would have somewhere to document what I'm seeing in my business and my life every week. Sometimes the signals in your business like I said, they look like chaos, but I can probably guarantee you that that chaos is really pointing you toward alignment. And I talk about alignment a lot because I am building a life first business and I help other business owners build a life first business. And those two things need to be in alignment. Your business can't operate without your life being in order, and your life can't operate without your business being in order because they both have to be in alignment and they both interact. So, if you want to go deeper into the work that I'm talking about, where I help business owners understand the story behind their numbers and help them make better decisions in their businesses, that's what I talk about on my other channel, the Financial Storytellers channel. I'll give you some information on that, where you can access that in the description below. And if you find this kind of reflection resonates with you that I'm talking about, where just reflecting on what happens in a week, in a day, even in a year, that's exactly what this series, Notes from a Financial Storyteller, is all about. So every week I'll come back and share the next signal that I noticed. And then I'll tell you what I did about it. Because there could be some weeks where I saw the signal or felt it, and I didn't do anything about it. But there's always going to be a consequence for that, good or bad. What's the consequence of you acting on it? What's the consequence of you not acting on it? So I just wanted somewhere where I could document that. So I decided to create a series. So if that resonates with you, come back next week and let's talk about it. I'll see you next time. Peace.